Hey, hey, good morning. Good morning. This is Pastor Jay of Walker Truth Radio Network. And this is Wednesday's Wisdom. I hope everybody's week is going well. I hope that you're getting a lot accomplished this week. I pray that the Lord is truly, truly blessing you as you go out and do what He has called you to do. Each and every one of you, each and every one of you who is blessed by the Lord, let them say so today. Right now, just give the Lord thanks for all that He's done in your life up to this point. You know, people say, don't nothing count what you do for the Lord. I tell you what, don't nothing count but how you obey Him. He doesn't need you, you need Him. So how you obey Him and appreciate Him and give Him praise, that's what counts. So you see the title? Don't despise small beginnings. Well, you know, that's in Zechariah chapter 4, around verse 10. And it's in context, it's about them going back to Jerusalem and rebuilding the temple. And it looks like it's insurmountable, but the Lord has his hand on it. The Lord has done what he promised and removed them out of captivity. And he's going to bring judgment against those who have taken advantage of them during this time. And now they have the warrant by King Cyrus to go rebuild the temple. And it looks arduous, it's hard. And they got to start small, but guess what? It's going to get rebuilt. And just like then, just like now, don't despise the small things. Sometimes you start off real slow. And I'm going through this right now in myself. I remember when I started broadcasting and how I got discovered to broadcast. I was with my friend Randy of the Misfits for Jesus. I was on his show, and a guy named Jack, who was producing his show, asked me, did I want a show? And that was way out in 60 miles away in Warrenton, Missouri. And from there, I was on a radio station out there. And then I came into St. Louis and was on the radio station here with Walk of Truth Ministries, lunch with Pastor Minister Sutton. Did that for a year or two with my good friend and my brothers and sisters in Christ, Sister Dr. Yolanda Brown, and Minister my brother Willis Butcher. And we did that for a time. We had some fun. And then as time went on, things kept developing, things kept developing. And then I met a young lady named Tanika Drake, you know, my fellow podcaster. And she really turned me on to podcasting and has matured me into podcasting. And the rest is history. 250,000 plays later, 12,600 followers worldwide. This is where we're at. And it started in my church office long time ago. And really it started in a small building with a bunch of beagles in a room that's about as big as a closet in a studio that Jack had to produce our show way out west. And you know what I think about that? I couldn't imagine where it was going to take me, but I had to trust God. I had to keep moving, and doors that open, go through them. Doors that close, let them close. But it was a small beginning. Wow. And I thank God for that because it humbled me because it was a struggle. And now it's almost second nature, but the time has been put in. And I want to encourage you. It may seem small at first, but put the time in because something's about to happen. Something is about to change in your life because you've been dedicated, you've been faithful, you've trusted God, and you did what God has called you to do. No matter what nobody said, you did what God called you to do. And you know, with my life, Every time God has called me to do something is different than where I came from before. And he gets me there in a way that only he could get the glory, only he can get the honor. Yes, I followed his lead and obeyed him in his lead. So it's not me doing for him, but it's me obeying him. Think about this. God said he'd rather have obedience rather than sacrifice. And he told Saul that. And Saul got in trouble because he figured that he could give God what he wanted his way. But God said, no, I have to have it my way. And his obedience is a level of sacrifice, because what you're doing when you obey God, you're saying, not my will, but your will be done. And I'm going to follow what you have called me to do. So again, today's wisdom today, the wisdom of the day. I'm sorry, I'm doing something else. The wisdom of today, Wednesday's wisdom, is don't look back and don't get discouraged by you starting small. So many people stop their dreams because they start small and they want to be big, but they're just looking at the fact that they have to start small. Everything has to start somewhere. Even the nation of Israel, what did it start with? One man obeying God, leaving his kinsmen, leaving his country, and trusting God and stepping out on faith. And through that one man, Abraham, he had one son. And through that one son came another son. And through that son came the 12 tribes of Israel. And through the 12 tribes of Israel, you have the nation of Israel now. Even though they're scattered, God promised him that they would have an everlasting covenant, that he would make his name great, and that he would have sons and daughters that could number the stars in the sky. And God kept his promise. And you think about this. God kept his promise to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, irregardless of their sin, irregardless of their times of slipping and falling. Because when you're in covenant with God, his word means everything. So what are you saying, Pastor? This is what I'm saying. I believe that God has called each one of us to do something. And in its own right, it's great because it's for God. I'm not talking about because it's flashy. I'm not talking about because you may be known. I'm talking about because it's God ordained. It could be simply as being a great father, great mother, sister, brother, whatever. Great boss, great employee, but God has called you to something. And it starts with a small beginning, that first step to trust God in what appears to be small, that he will turn into great. You never know who's watching you. You never know who's paying attention to what you're doing. You just need to realize that it starts with the small beginning. So don't get discouraged because it starts small. Be encouraged that, hey, that's the way God does things. He starts things small and grows them into what he wants, the seed of small beginnings, and it grows into what he wants, and then he gets the glory. So, the wisdom of the day, please don't get discouraged by things that are starting small. Don't look at somebody else's small beginning and miss the blessing of attaching yourself to them if it's good and godly, and you can grow with them. Don't you know that when a seed is planted, it grows up and it attracts all kind of things to live in it, to be sustained by it, to be given shade by it. And just think, that animal, that person that is sitting on a shade tree, that shade tree started as a seed and you couldn't see what it was going to grow into. But now look at it. It's bearing fruit, and it's causes a person to have a relaxing time under it. So again, I want you to be encouraged today. I want you to think about this. What is it that God is trying to show you through starting small? That one day, in due time, you humble yourself to the smallness of it, the precious time that you have, and then God will watch it grow, and you'll grow, and then you'll look back and you'll remember back like I did and say, I remember when it was small. And not that it's the biggest, but it's what God has called me to do. And now I'm about to embark on something else, and that's going to be announced later, probably beginning of next year. And it's an awesome thing because I remember when we were in Pastor Bean's closet of a studio, producing a show, driving 60 miles, no matter what kind of weather, to record the show. And amongst beagles and dog feces, and me and Jack and whoever I had as a guest was in this little bitty room recording a show that could not even reach back to my city at the time, only on a clear day. And now, the podcast is all over the world. We can be found anywhere and everywhere. All you have to do, you can search in your search engine of your choice, Walk Truth Radio Network with Dr. James Sutton, and we'll come up. You can ask Alexa about Walk Truth Radio Network, and we'll come up. And I thank God for that. But it's not over. This may be a big thing now, but it's a small thing to a bigger thing. I'm going to say that again. This may look like a big thing now, but it's truly the small thing to the bigger thing that I'm going to talk about later in the first of the year, if God lets me see it. But he's been so good to me, whether I see it or not. He's still a good God. But I am looking forward to starting all over with what I have. Hold on to what I've attained, Philippians chapter 3, and go on, press forward to the mark of the high calling. And don't despise the small things, because they eventually grow into something, and it could be something great for you and your family and those you have influence over. This is Pastor Jay of Walk with Truth Radio Network. I always want you to be encouraged, blessed, and at peace. Remember to walk in the truth of the Lord, and don't despise small things. Grow in grace. Please continue to like, subscribe, and share. And if you'd like to donate to this ministry, you can look in the description, $ WITCFC, or you can look at all our broadcasts, #DRJCS2 or #WITRN. And there is today's Wednesday's wisdom. Don't despise small things. And I'll see you tomorrow for Thursday Thought. So have a great rest of your day. Peace.